The President, Bola Tinubu, says there will be no going back on the orders of withdrawal of VIP protection in the country. And the governor of Rivers State, Timileyin Fubara, has been speaking about the political situation in the state. It says there is no rift with Rivers lawmakers, seeking support of President Tinubu and asking his supporters in the state to keep behind him in support of President Tinubu ahead of 2027. Hello everyone, welcome to the program. It's a pleasure having you join us tonight. And let's get talking about your major stories making the rounds, forcing farmers. Let me tell you about the politics of Rivers State. The governor has been speaking. Governor Timileyin Fubara was speaking today when he was breaking ground on some projects in the state, some 2 local government areas. Today, the governor says, contrary to insinuations that he was avoiding the lawmakers, arrangements had already been made for a meeting with them. He says that there is no rift between him, the federal or state lawmakers. From the state, he is insisting that claims of strained relationships are unfounded. The governor said these earlier while commissioning the extended and dualized 28.4-kilometer Ahoda-Omoku Road in Rivers State. Take a listen to him.
I personally do not have any disagreement or any anger anywhere with my members of the National Assembly, even that of the state here. Let me be very particular. The state members of the House of Assembly, I do not have any issue with them. I have made every effort. I believe that the leadership of the State Council that is led by Chief Federal Adababra can attest to this. I've made every effort to meet with them. But the arrangement wasn't for me to call them directly. It was for my leader, the minister, to arrange the meeting, which up till this hour, that meeting has not been fixed. So when people go about saying, I don't want to meet them, so thing, I don't want to attend to them, I don't want to meet their demand, that is pure lie. I don't have any reason to do that. I personally said whatever is their need, whatever it is that they need, I'm ready to meet it so that we can have peace in the state. So please, I'm saying it here, this is a live television. Whoever is going to tell you that I don't want to meet the member of us of the State Assembly is not true. I have met with our leaders and they said they were going to arrange a meeting. I do not want to go behind them so that it will look as if, because I go behind them, it will look as if I'm trying to divide the house. I'm a gentleman and a very principled person. And that is the reason why I am saying this here. I have suffered so much because of single story.
That's Governor Timileyin Fubara earlier today. I've got so much stories for you today, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to distill everything within this next hour. So stick around with me. We've got some exclusive. My guest tonight is one person you like to listen to. But before we get talking with my guest, let's serve you some of your political roundup stories.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has announced a new security and economic framework aimed at unlocking Nigeria's vast marine and aquatic resources under the blue economy. The Vice President made the announcement when he represented President Bola Tinubu at a meeting with participants of the Executive Course 47 of the National Institute of Policy and Strategic Study NIPS at the State House, Abuja. The Senate has directed its Committee on Police Affairs to investigate alleged selective implementation of President Bola Tinubu's order withdrawing police escorts from VIPs, following complaints that lawmakers were being singled out while other influential individuals continue to enjoy full security cover. The resolution was reached after Senator Abdul Ningi, Bauchi Central, raised a point of order under Order 9 during plenary, expressing outrage that his only police orderly had been withdrawn despite the continued protection of ministers, business executives, political families, and celebrities. He warned that the uneven enforcement of President's directive could expose lawmakers to security threats. The House of Representatives was thrown into a rowdy session today following a motion seeking to invite the Governor of Central Bank to explain the non-remittances of identified government revenues and present concrete plan for immediate payments of all outstanding amounts into designated federal government's account. The resolution was reached following a motion alleging non-remittances of over 5 trillion naira operating surplus and 11 trillion naira government revenue by the CBN. The motion was raised by the Chairman of Committee on Public Accounts, Representative Bamidele Salam, who informed the House that the CBN governor has ignored several invitations from the committee. The multi-agency anti-kidnapping cell in the Office of the National Security Advisor has commenced the review of its strategies and operational approach to further tackle the rising threat of kidnapping across the country. Speaking at the review meeting in Abuja, the coordinator of the National Counter-Terrorism Center, Major General Abdul Laka, says the move has become necessary due to the increasing sophistication and evolving tactics of kidnapping networks nationwide. Governor of Osun State, Ademola Adeleke, has emerged the governorship candidate of the Accords Party's candidate for the August 8, 2026 governorship election. Governor Adeleke, the only aspirant in the primary held in Osogbo, pulled 145 votes out of 150 cast by delegates drawn from the state's 30 local government areas. According to the party's national organizing secretary and chairman of the screening committee, Ibe Thangod, all 150 accredited delegates participated in the primary, adding that the process was transparent and unanimous. The Taminu Turaki-led National Working Committee has met with the state chairman of the party. The meeting, which was held at the Musa Yar'Adua Center in Abuja, is the first since the Ibadan Convention. The state chairman forum, led by the Edo State PDP chairman Tony Azegbemi, had 29 attendees who introduced themselves as chairman of their various states. Meanwhile, the PDP has presented certificate of return to the newly elected National Working Committee of the party. The ceremony was attended by members of the Board of Trustees, former governors, National Assembly caucus, among others.
There you have it. You've been served with your political roundup stories, and now you are in the loop. Let me take the stories further and let you know what has happened today in the presidential villa, where President Bola Tinubu has met with the All Progressives Congress leaders and governorship aspirants from Osun State. If you have been following, you will have heard about the rifts within the party. Some of the leaders and aspirants were deemed not to be eligible for the governorship primaries of the party. The president is asking them to embrace unity and support a consensus candidate ahead of the December 13 primary of the party. The president was in a photograph with some of the leaders, including a former deputy governor, Mr. Olugbuyega Alabi, Dotun Babayemi, Akin Ogunbiyi, Senator Babajide Omorare, Kunle Adegoke SAN, Babatunde Oralusi, Mulikad Ajibola Jimo, and Muniruddin Bola Oyebamiji. The president also had in that meeting the national chairman of the APC, Professor Nentawe Yuwada, the secretary to the government of the Federation, Senator George Akume. Also in the mix was the chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum, Senator Hope Uzodinma, the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Mr. Adegboyega Oyetola. All right then, Senator Ademola Adeleke has emerged as the Accord Party candidate for the Osun governorship election in a primary that was held today in Osogbo. We saw party members of Accord welcome a new member of their party, and now the man who will fly the flag of the party. They probably would have the honor also of having for the very first time an incumbent governor being the flag bearer of the party. I'm being joined by the brand new governorship candidate, that of Accord Party. On one hand, a candidate, on the other hand, the executive governor of Osun State. Senator Ademola Adeleke is live for us on the program, virtually from Osogbo, the capital of Osun State. Thanks so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight on the program.
How are you?
Thank you. I'm good, Your Excellency. It's good to see you. I see that
today?
You are in new colors. You are probably in a new environment, politically speaking. But I guess congratulations might be in order. How do you feel on a day like this? Now you're being labeled or being seen as a member of another political party entirely. Accord Party, how does it feel? And I know that you have been carrying a new slogan, accordingly, as a member of Accord.
That's right. Everything can go accordingly, you know, in sequence, everything can go accordingly. That's the slogan right now. And everybody has already embraced it, you know. As you know me, I'm the light. And when light comes, darkness vanishes.
So, you know? So that's what it means in Yoruba language, where they call you Imolede, right? Light has emerged. Now, but Governor Adeleke, how does it feel, right? All right. How does it feel? You appear to have given up on the PDP. This is the party that gave you the platform, gave you the opportunity, you know, canvass vote for you, made you the governor in some way, gave you the platform. How do you explain to your supporters and the people your loyalty to a party that gave you everything?
Okay, let me first of all say this. I love PDP. I love PDP. And I appreciate that the PDP gave me a platform for me to become senator. And of course now, a governor. And so far so good. You know, I just celebrated my 3 years anniversary as a governor of Osun State under the platform of PDP. But as you can see, I personally myself, I try my best to balance the crisis that we have in PDP from both sides, factions. I did all the best I could do. But I love my state, Osun State. Assuming that you don't need a platform, you know, to go ahead and secure any nomination or for you to be a candidate, could have been a different case. But you need a platform. And time is running out. Since I don't know what will happen in future, all court cases and all that. So, hello?
Yeah, Your Excellency. Yeah, we're listening. Go ahead, please.
Okay. So, like I said, I love PDP, but with all the crisis that is going on, I'm sure you know about all these crises, but because you are always up to the task to know what is going on. So I did my best, I tried, but everything seems falling apart every day. So as a reasonable person, I have to make a decision. So where do I go from here? So that is why I decided to go for Accord, party, accordingly. And so it's not true that I abandoned PDP. I love PDP, but I have to protect myself. I have to make sure I protect my state because of the good work we've been doing so that we can continue. Thank you.
Of course, I could see now that you are in a new family. That's Accord Party. There is a governorship primary that we see that has been conducted today. And it's interesting that a day after that you emerged as a member of the party, when you announced that you are now a member, you are leaving the PDP, or you've left the PDP, you've now moved to Accord Party, what's called the primary now held, and you emerged. But let me ask you, why the choice of Accord Party?
Thank you very much. Before I do something, I always put God first. I prayed about it, and God led me to God. And of course, I look at their agenda, and as far as I'm concerned, I believe in that. If you come over to Osun State and ask all the civil servants, the workers, and everything, their life has improved a great deal. Before we came, They have a slogan they call Afusa. I said, what is that? Afusa, what is Afusa? They said half salary. How can somebody be paid half salary? So later I came in, I started paying all those half salary, which I did not. It wasn't our administration that did all that. I also completed it, and I increased, workers' welfare, and they were happy with me. And so, that is why I believe that, what's it called? The accord, they have, the same, agenda that I have, especially the welfare. So I said, okay, let me go for accord. And that's that. God has led me to it.
Well, I mean, you're a politician, and you're not the only one that has practiced or gone into politics in the Adeleke family. Sherubawan was there. And so there is a huge political understanding within the Adeleke family. So I'd like you to tell us, whether or not you think Accord Party, you know how important a party structure, and the history of Accord Party in Osun State is not one that one would think that is very strong as that. Do you think Accord Party has the depth of structure enough for you to be able to get re-election?
You bet. Let me tell you something. When I left APC briefly, when I won the primary during the year of the Senate and all that, when my late brother, Governor Senator Gov Adeleke, when he died, and of course I contested and I won, but they refused to give me the ticket. I said, okay, if you don't want to do that, just within a month, PDP was dead that time, and I crossed over to PDP within a month. Out of 10 local governments, I won 9. Even that 10, I just give it to them because I know I won all. So it is the person, it is the mole, it is the light in me. Because I believe that people love me in Osun State. So it's not all about party now. Osun people, they are wise. They don't judge you about your party. It's the person. So what have you done? I have a track record. So that track record is what they're going to go for. Within 3 years, I know what we have achieved in our government. So it's the person. Today, you could see. I said, okay, you know what? Let me do the street credibility. After I've won the primary and named the candidate of Accord, I went down the street. Shehu, you will not believe this. Maybe later I will send you some videos. People came out. I did not go out and rent anybody because I don't like to deceive myself. I want to see firsthand and see if my people still love me. They came out en masse, shouting Imole, Imole, we love you. Wherever you go, we go. So that is what I can tell you right now. So it's going to happen. It's going to work by the grace of God, and I'm going to win. 2026.
Yeah, Governor Adeleke, please stay with me for a moment. Let me go on a short break, and we'll fix a few technical issues right here. Stay with me, Governor Adeleke. We'll be right back to conclude the conversation. Thanks so much, everyone, for staying with us. Governor of Osun State, Senator Ademola Adeleke, has been speaking with us on the program. He's emerged today as a candidate of Accord Party in the Osun governorship election race. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for your time tonight. And I wanted to know how ready you are for the race, considering that there is a party at the center that will be breathing down your neck in this race, that a party that will think that naturally they will bring the heat on. And thinking that Accord Party is the kind of party that can give you the muscle in terms of party structure. You use the PDP that has enormous party structure to defeat or to fight the APC. But now, you're probably the biggest name in Accord Party. How do you want to swim in this very hostile water you're about to enter into?
Well, thank you very much, Ashun. Let me tell you something. Like I said, Oshu people are wiser. They know the difference between good governance and bad governance. And they have decided to toe Imole part. It is me they are talking about. We are not even talking about party right now. Party is just a platform. And when they compare the records of what my predecessor has done, and they compare to my own record, they have suffered a lot in terms of unpaid salary. They call it AFUSA or whatever. I came in, I brought hope, I brought light in Osun State. So my records, first of all, will speak for itself. I'm building bridges, which is unprecedented, that has never happened throughout Ile-Ife, the cradle of Yoruba land. Building bridges here, building so many roads, and of course, dualizing a lot of roads in Ila, in my hometown, in Osogbo. And of course, I did not abandon. Hello?
Go ahead, please.
Yes, I did not abandon any project, because I said, I promised myself I will not abandon any project, starting from when Aregbesola and of course I did all before I even started my own agenda job. I finished all the abandoned projects. I never left anyone, because I believe that government is continuous. You don't say because you are not in the same party you want to abandon a project. No, that's not my style. So I finished all the projects that was abandoned, and then I started mine. So, and of course, I have about five point agenda, just to mention few. Welfare, to workers, they are happy with me. That's why they endorse me. And of course, minimum wage, we are the first one to give 75 minimum. And we are not fake. We are paying it according to what they deserve. And of course, when you talk about health, we came first. Lagos came second, even in Southwest, to the extent that the Gates Foundation gave us, $500,000, and I put it back into the health sector. I built about 250 health centers, cut across. Make sure I put electricity everywhere. So boreholes, everywhere is functioning. So, and in terms of agriculture, I bought what's called tractors for the farmers. Give them, a lot, to work with. Even in education, when I came in, our pupils were behind in the exam. I think that they are 33rd in Nigeria, 33 or something in Nigeria. Today, we have moved up, to seven position throughout Nigeria. So my target is number one. If I keep saying all our achievement in terms of infrastructure, in terms of education, in terms of health, in terms of agriculture, we will not live here. But what I can assure you that they are not talking about whether they always have the saying in Yoruba land. Even if your town is very, very small, but when you have a big people there that are doing very well, your town will be popular. And now, Imole is in Accord now. I can assure you, Accord will be booming. And it's my person that they're going to vote for. They're going to vote for Imole because of my track records, and Osun people are wise now.
Gov Adeleke, yeah. If we may be able to wrap this up quickly now.
Administration now.
Yeah.
And like I said, yes.
Governor Adeleke, if you wrap this up quickly, I'm worried about there are those in the opposition who are saying that Imole, they want to dim it. It's going to be over, and they will take you out of relevance. Are you ready for that battle, that political battle that is ahead of you? They said this is not going to be like the last election. This is going to be tougher. Are you ready for the battle that is ahead?
Well, I don't know the battle they are talking about. We are not going to war. I'm not going to war. It's an election. Or two people will decide. It's not a fight. I'm not fighting anybody. We are not going to war. Nigeria has already problem to battle the insurgency that is happening in Nigeria.
And you're not worried about the power, the federal might, in quote, the federal might.
Well, I believe our president is a Democrat. He's been in this position before. When he was in opposition, yes, I learned a lot from him too. He stood his ground, despite the fact that they have is in opposition, and he still won. So why can't I do that? If I was in the opposition when I won last time, and it's not going to be different. So the president and even the federal mind that is so called, when they know that look, and people and they want to decide, and if also people decide that they want me back, they don't have any choice. We are practicing democracy here. And all that. And of course, President Tinubu say, listen, these guys want fair and square. And that's it. So I'm not going there to a battle. It's not what is battle? It's an election. So let people decide. And I believe that they will make a right decision because of my track record. Because they want continuity. And I can assure you, Imole is here to stay. And that darkness will vanish.
Thank you so much, Governor Adeleke. Those of them
they don't want darkness again. They want a light. That light to be moving, to be going across all of our state.
Yeah. There are those of them who are saying that you may have been able to dance your way to victory the last time. They will make that dance more difficult. And what should the people of Osun State be expecting now that you have the ticket of Accord Party?
Well, let me tell you something. I will keep dancing. Because I love to dance, I love to praise my God. And that doesn't change anything. Do you understand what I'm saying? I will still dance and praise my God, and I still do my work. So that dancing is everybody have their own way of relaxing or hobby. My hobby is to dance and praise my God. That does not affect my work. So I can tell you, Osun people will continue to receive good governance. They will continue to receive dividend of democracy, which they have never had so good.
All right.
You are a journalist. Come to Osun, ask around, people around, and see yourself. Come and video of what our government have done for our people. You will be proud. You will be proud. In Osun State, just within 3 years, oh my God, you will not believe it.
Thank you so much. Senator Ademola Adeleke, the governor of Osun State.
Osun people should expect a lot of dividend of democracy and expect some goodies.
All right. We look forward to that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Senator Adeleke, thank you so much indeed for your time tonight. I wish you the very best as the race is now shaping up. Thank you so much indeed for your time.
I wish you the best accordingly too. Okay? Take care.
All right. Thank you, Senator. All right. Let's flip the page now and talk about security. So President Bola Tinubu today has stated that his order that police officers currently attached to prominent individuals in the country be withdrawn and redeployed to areas ravaged by insecurity stands. It says that that order stands and it cannot be taken for granted. The president was addressing concerns raised over the security implications of the withdrawal, and the president had directed the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, to work with the IG of police and the NSCDC to replace the affected police personnel with NSCDC officers. Take a listen to President Bola Tinubu.
Police officers from VIP or VVIP. I honestly believe in what I said, and I called on the IG, and I hope the Minister for Police Affairs is here. So if you have any problem of security because of the nature of your assignment, please contact the IGP and get my clearance. The Minister for Interior should liaise with IGP and the civil defense structure to replace those police officers who are on special security duties, so that you don't leave people exposed. NSA and DSS to provide further information and form themselves into a committee and review the structure.
Let's get a take on why this could be a difficult task and why the technicality of this might be important, the import of this, the implication on our national security. I'm being joined by a very senior fellow in research on counterterrorism and extreme violence. And of course, a security consultant, Dr. Bulama Bukati, is live for us from Kampala. Thank you so much, Dr. Bukati, for joining us tonight on the program.
Thank you, Sean.
Why is it so difficult and it looks like a dilly-dallying over this matter? Isn't it not supposed to be a straightforward matter that withdraw the VIP protection? The report we have is about 100,000 or so out of the less than 400,000 VIP protection in the country of police officers in the country. But the police have said less than 12,000 have now been withdrawn. In fact, something that really caught me is how far IGP Egbetokun went is that 2 days ago or 3 days ago, I think it was on Monday, along Maitama Road, there are special forces, detectives, and special operatives of the Nigerian police force who are barricading the road and looking out for VIP protection. And I saw a few people who were being accosted and their police protection were withdrawn. Literally, we saw that happen. But the president insists on this. There are those who say, be careful on this kind of order. What is your take on this?
Look, Sean, this is a very clear presidential order which should be straightforward to be implemented. Unfortunately, as you said, we are seeing clear problems and challenges and sometimes dilly-dallying and dithering and delaying in implementing this presidential order. And let's remember that this is not the first time a Nigerian president will make an order like this. It was previously made under President Buhari, but it was never implemented. And now President Tinubu has made the same order, and we are seeing problems. You are right that the estimate says about 40% of Nigeria's police forces, which are around 370,000 the total, about 40% of them are deployed to VIP protection and administrative duties. And so withdrawing just 11,000 of them 11,000 of them, as the IGP did, is not enough. But I think where the issue lies, Sean, is the presidential order itself needs to be clearer. And what I want to advise is for President Tinubu, instead of making just a statement, make a clear presidential order which should be gazetted, which should clearly withdraw protection from every single Nigerian except a clearly defined group of people. Because right now we are saying withdraw from VIPs, but who are VIPs? Do they include senior politicians, for example? Do they include senior or top judicial officers? Do they include governors? Who are VIPs? In other countries of the world, in other democracies, what you see shown is a clear order with a clearly defined group of people, usually the head of state and top judicial officers and a few others who are entitled to police protection, while the remaining elites and politicians and businessmen source for private security or rely on the security that every country, every citizen relies on. And I think that's what we need to implement. I think President Tinubu needs to clearly define who are still entitled to the protection. And if possible, Shaun, I think we should even have a law passed by the National Assembly criminalizing deploying police officers to private individuals as private for hire. And I think that is what is going to prevent, that is what is going to ensure proper implementation right now, and also prevent taking these people away in a few months' time and still deploying them to VIPs.
But give us an understanding. If this is enforced, what would be the impact on policing in Nigeria? Would anything change?
It is going to have a fundamental impact, positive impact on Nigeria's security and policing. So in counter-terrorism operations, Shaun, what the military does is to reclaim territories. They can only reclaim territories, but it is the duty of the police to occupy, to hold, to secure, and to ensure that the territories that have been reclaimed have been administered properly. So when the military, for example, fights bandits in northwestern Nigeria or Boko Haram terrorists in northeastern Nigeria and they reclaim a specific town or village, they cannot be expected to stay there and police the town. If they did that, they will be stuck in the war because Boko Haram will only run to the next village or town and start implementing whatever they want to implement. And so you need the military to constantly move to continue to push the terrorists and the Boko Haram terrorists and the bandit terrorists. But the only way you can do that is to get a police force that has the capacity to occupy, to secure, and to help civilian authorities to administer the territories that have been reclaimed. So it is their duty, for example, to restore law and order. It is their duty to investigate crimes. It is their duty to protect the civilians that are returning to the reclaimed territories. And it is their duty to enforce laws and orders in the areas that have been reclaimed. But if you allow the military to continue to guard and police towns, then you will be stuck in one place, and therefore bandit terrorists and Boko Haram terrorists and other insurgents will continue to administer parts of Nigeria's territory. So like I said, this can be a fundamental step. It can help in war front, in helping in enhancing the frontline capacity of the Nigeria police force. It can help in the war against terrorism and criminality. It can help or strengthen intelligence, surveillance, and all of those capacity that we need. And so it is a very, very important policy. And if implemented, it can be a game changer in quite a lot of places in ensuring that we get hold of, or we continue to hold, the territories that our military is reclaiming right now.
If you look at the numbers, it does look like the mathematics might be incorrect based on what President Bola Tinubu, he is the commander-in-chief. He should have all of the facts and all of the details of all of the security numbers of booths that we have on the ground. But if you look at the mathematics, it may not be making sense after all. Why? About 100,000 or so is the report that has been published of the police officers who are in VIP protection, out of the less than 500,000 police officers that we have in Nigeria. If the president has asked the Minister of Interior, Olubunmi Otunyojo, to then now say we substitute that capacity and take it to the NSCDC, the Civil Defense Corps. This whole Civil Defense Corps is less than 100,000. And these are the men and women that are supposed to safeguard natural and national assets and national resources or infrastructure in Nigeria. And that those who will be asking, where do you want to get the numbers? You're going to jeopardize the primary role of NSCDC. How do you make sense of that mathematics of President Bola Tinubu saying this duty of about 100,000 or so people, take it to the NSCDC who lacks in number the capacity?
Yeah, so Seun, there are quite a few issues you have raised here. Number one, the mathematics doesn't work in terms of the police officers that have been withdrawn as against the numbers that are estimated to be deployed to have been deployed to VIPs, because number one, like I said, the policy itself is not very clear. When we say withdraw from VIPs, does that include political office holders? Because right now we know that the Senate President has a large contingency, the Speaker of the House, even individual senators have police officers attached to them. We know almost all judges have police officers attached to them. We know sometimes even commissioners in states. And we know that in some places, state governors have police force that is equal to the force of a whole area command. And now, when you say VIPs, who are VIPs? From whom should the police officers be withdrawn? I think that should be clarified. Secondly, I think even for for political office holders like governors, like the Senate President, who are entitled still to police officers, the presidency should have a policy clearly defining how many should be attached to them. And so if you did that, then there will be a clear policy on who is entitled and how much are they or how many are they entitled to, as against the haphazard policy we have right now. This is the first issue. The second issue, Seun, is that I don't support replacing the police officers that will be withdrawn with the Civil Defense Corps. Because like you said, the civil defense under the law creating them have their own clearly defined roles. And if you withdrew them from their roles and deployed them to VIPs, then you are clearly undermining their primary duty and you are undermining the law that created them. But additionally, even if you wanted to do that, they do not have the numbers to cover. And to be honest, Seun, security should not be a privilege of the few. It should be a right of all Nigerians, and therefore our police officers, our civil defense and other security and law enforcement agencies and paramilitary, they should be deployed to protect all Nigerians. We should not be selecting a few Nigerians as if their lives are more valuable than other Nigerians and be protecting them.
Give me a moment, Mr. Bukati. I'll go on a break, and when we come back, there are in fact some fundamental issues that we need to raise about our national security, what the president said, and the manner in which we need to go forward in our national security architecture. We'll be right back after this break. Thanks so much, everyone, for staying with us. We've been speaking about President Bola Tinubu's position on his order of withdrawal of VIP protection to allow those who are in that unit be able to do regular policing activities. The senators equally said they are probing the selective action or enforcement of that order. Dr. Bulama Bukati is a specialist in this area and has been speaking with us. Going forward, Dr. Bukati, you've given some position on how this can happen. Part of what the president also raises an issue today is the conflict between farmers and herders, and he has asked that we should find special location in the country. He understands that the state governors, by law, by the Land Use Act, have the power over the land in their territory. But how do we resolve this age-long crisis of farmer-herders clash? And the president is very concerned about it. This is, on one part of the violent situation we see in the country. But to wrap up this conversation, if you were President Bola Tinubu, what would you be doing urgently?
Yeah, so Seun, part of what happened that contributed to the escalating farmer-herder crisis is the loss of grazing reserves. You know, when the British colonialists left, they clearly designated farms, industrial places or areas and towns as well as grazing reserves. But then after they left, as a result of urbanization, climate change, stuff around insecurity, and expansion of commercial companies into many places in Nigeria, grazing land was lost. And so it is important to introduce policies that will restore either grazing reserves or ranches so that farmer harder clashes would be reduced. I think if you have a policy at the state level clearly demarcating land that is for grazing and land that is for farming, that will go a long way in dousing the tensions and reducing the violence. And clearly, northern Nigeria has vast territories of land that are barren, that are not in use right now, that we can deploy to either farms or as grazing reserves. Now, but then when it comes to the policy we were talking about, Sheun, they say charity begins at home. You know, recently Professor Wole Soyinka made an observation that goes to the heart of this VIP protection issue. He made an observation on the convoy level security forces that accompany the son of the president, one of the sons of the president, wherever he goes. I think the presidency and everyone around President Tinubu should not see Professor Wole Soyinka's statement as a personal attack. It is an attack on a broken system that requires fixing. And if the president's orders are serious, then the president should start from those who are closest to him. The president should clearly order that security, the convoy level security his son goes around with, should be withdrawn. And we know that the president's son may require protection, but then maybe you need 2 or 3 DSS officials with him and a little police officers. And because of this, this practice by the presidency and state governors who you see deploying police officers to their children and wives, you also see other people deploying police officers to their children and wives, and we need to stop that. And the first place to start that is from the president's son. Charity begins at home.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bulama Bukati, for your time tonight. And that's our show for today, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimale. God bless Nigeria.